It's so weird because I'm used to the countdown. But this is a baby channel. This is my YouTube debut. Hello world, hello YouTube. Some of you may know me formerly on Facebook as Nicole Michelle. I used to do a series there, and then I stopped for a while. And then I picked it back up, and when I was doing it previously, Facebook would not delete your videos. You could choose how long you wanted the video to be up, but now they've changed it where they are deleting videos after 30 days, and it just kind of didn't seem to make sense to me. I want these videos to live a long time out there in the ether, out there in the void, and Facebook is no longer willing to allow me to do that. So I was like, maybe I'll start a YouTube channel. And so here I am, Nicole Michelle. Welcome to my channel, Stand Yourself, which will make sense at the end of this video. So I decided to move here. So normally I would do a series called Vulnerable AF Fridays on Facebook, where I would go and I would discuss either something that was popping up for me, you know what I mean? Well, it all started because I would be getting ready for work, I'd be brushing my teeth, whatever. All these thoughts would be going through my mind, you know. I'm very much a poet, a deep reflector. You know, I sit with things, I go deep with things, probably sometimes deeper than most people like or care for, but it is who I am. And it's taken me a long time to accept that, to be honest. A lot of who I am has taken me a long time to accept it, and I'm sure that plays, it comes into play because of how I grew up. You know, I had a very restricted childhood. I had a very abusive childhood, and all of that trauma has stolen most of my life from me, in my opinion. I've missed out on relationships, I've missed out on opportunities, and all this stuff, you know what I mean? And so one day I just got a wild hair up my ass, and I thought, I want to not necessarily share my story, but show up and create space for healing through my own healing work, which has taken a lot of doing. I would say for sure one thing that helped me turn the page or turn over a new leaf on healing is probably plant medicine. So I'm very pro plant medicine. Clearly I'm a very holistic type individual. Not that that should really matter. I think that everybody should heal in their own way. I'm a firm believer that life is not one size fits all. But one day I was having a lot of feelings and emotions, and I just thought, you know, one of the things that I've really had to learn for myself is being vulnerable, which is still a bit tricky, still a bit of a challenge, but I still try to do it anyway. Because I think there's a lot more freedom and vulnerability than there is in trying to people please and try to fit into a mold and pretend to be something you're not. Like, I can't do that anyway. Like, I'm a very authentic person. So I got on one day and I did it and I shared it and it had some positive feedback, and then I tapered off. And the reason I tapered off is because I was finding myself caught up in the crosshairs of the divides that those who are in charge infest us with, and try to convince us that we're the enemy of each other. And I'm just not about that. And I wanted to kind of create a different narrative. You know what I mean? I wanted to put something else out there, something that I wanted to see. You know, there's that saying, be the change you wish to see in the world, right? And I just wasn't really feeling all of the divide and the hatred and just the silliness, in my opinion. Whereas if we were all more healed, I feel like we could have a better existence individually, collectively, etc. So I got on, I did this video, and for a while I did it. I don't know how long exactly, but there was a while where I would get on like every Friday, and then, like I said, I tapered off. So, excuse me, I'm having a little indigestion this morning, and I'm very real and raw, and I'm not really that big of a editor. So I'm laughing because what that really means, I'm not really that big of an editor. So you're either going to be with this channel or you're not. You know what I mean? This channel is for people who are awake or are becoming awake, not woke. Okay, we're not here for woke bullshit. Okay, we're not here for that. We're here for doing the real work of healing and not being somebody on the sidelines cheering for some shit that they think means that they're being a good person and standing up for somebody else who's less fortunate. Because one thing that I've learned in my own healing journey as well is when you don't allow people to fight their own fight, first of all, you're saying they're weak. If you think they can't fight that, I'm not saying that sometimes people don't need people to take up for them. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is sometimes when we, you know, hear of some cause that we feel like we should get behind and whatever, it's never really what we think it is, first of all. It's never really what we think it is, first of all. And even if it is, and it starts off organic, and it starts off, you know, honest, it always becomes corrupt in this system. It always becomes corrupt. It doesn't matter, okay? So I think a lot of people like to kind of stand on the sidelines and, you know, shout from the rooftops of, I'm cheering for this side, and I represent this side, and I'm this, and I'm that, and so I'm a good person. And what I think honestly makes people good people is how they actually show up in life. Not virtue signaling, you know what I mean? Not thinking they know everything, which, let's be clear, I do not think I know everything. Look, I went to the school of hard knocks, and that's the only degree I have, okay? I'm not out here trying to say I'm some kind of a therapist. I'm not out here trying to say I'm any kind of an expert except for my own experience. I'm just here to share my experience and try to encourage other people to take on the journey that is healing and to be a testament to the fact that it really will make your life 1,000 times better. If you can start healing and get out of the victim role, the victim mindset, your whole life will change. And it all starts up here. I know we feel a lot in here, but it really all starts up here. And this is the part that we gotta, in my opinion, start. This is kind of where I started. I'm kind of getting into the emotional part now, which I will explain probably in more detail in another video. Through therapy, we're getting into this part here. It's kind of a interesting ride. And then also I'm trying to work on healing my body. It's ironic how I've naturally segued. This is not scripted. This is not planned. The only thing that's planned is that I made a channel and I knew I wanted to do a video today so that I could upload it today, because it's already been 2 Fridays that I've missed since I've started again on the listen to me casual, the Vulnerable AF Fridays. I always try to use my friend's YouTube because she does a video today too, and so that's kind of like my brain's. So anyway, I go on tangents. I probably won't edit anytime soon, and I'm just gonna go with it off the cuff. 2 a.m. is how I am. I'll probably go on tangents, but I feel like in some degree it always manages to come back around. So again, a lot of things about myself that I don't really like, particularly things that I've been made to feel are wrong or problematic or not normal or whatever the case may be. And I've had to kind of gradually learn to love myself and love those things about me and recognize how those things are not necessarily flaws or a problem. It's my own signature. It's what makes me different. And that's the beauty of the world, is the things that are different, not the things that are all the same. Not everybody always shouting the same message. If we're going to shout the same message, can it please be heal? Can it please be heal? And not like some fake ass, you know what I mean, surface level Like, we have some real work to do, you know? And it's not always fun and it's not always easy, but it's absolutely 100% worth it, and you'll never convince me that it's not. So, as I was saying before I went into that little side tangent, and I want to also say before I really get into it, you know, I retain the right to change my mind at any time. Okay, these are just my own personal thoughts and feelings. It's not my job to come out here and try to make people think like me. I just want to make people think. Okay, that's like goal number one. I want you to think, I want you to heal, I want you to live authentically, and I want to see you as an individual make this world a better place, because you're living in the truth of who you really are, not who they told you you have to be as you grew up, but who you really are, who you came here to be. So, I've already worked a lot on this, which still has probably some work to do. Working on this now, the emotional, this is where I call the emotional body. Here and kind of in my gut is typically where I feel things the most as I'm working through my emotional stuff, like I said, in therapy. And I also want to work on my physical body and getting it in proper condition and taking care of it. It's been abused. I've abused it, you know. I haven't taken good care of it. I understand why I haven't taken good care of it, and I understand how I got to be this way, because of trauma, specific trauma, I would say, because it wasn't until this one trauma where I started gaining weight as a child, and I know that was my body's physical response. The brain was like, hey, my job is to protect you and keep you safe, and this thing happened to you and you didn't feel safe, and so we're gonna make you put on some weight so that you feel a little safer, you feel a little protected. Maybe somebody will be less inclined to do that to you ever again, you know what I mean? And so also, you know, everybody has their everybody who's been through trauma, almost everybody that I've ever heard of or whatever, they have some there's a dump truck out here flinging, I don't know if you can hear the little ticks, or like flinging rocks and stuff from their load. It even says, we're not responsible for broken windshields. So, see, here we go, I got off topic. Give me a sec to bring it back. So, I recognize why and how it happened. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what's weighing on my heart and soul today, because like, I'm even getting on here and I'm talking and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to talk about? Because I don't really plan it, but I know it's important for me to show up. It's important for me to show up messy, imperfect. It's more important to show up than to be polished. And that's another message that I want people to know and understand. It's much more important that you show up than if you show up in a particular way that you think you need to show up. Like, thinking that you need to show up somehow, some way, polished, whatever, is part of the problem, in my personal opinion. That's an opinion, okay? I'm not saying it's fact. I'm not saying this. From my own understanding, my own experience, it's less important how you show up as long as you show up. It's more important to show up, right? And so what's really kind of been heavy on my heart and soul is the last time that I had therapy, I was talking about I was going to get on this diet, which I'm also going to be including in this channel. I'm going to be exploring the carnivore diet, and I've already kind of started. I'm sort of transitioning, but that's a different video for a different day. So I'm gonna have like a day that I do a carnivore video. I'm gonna have a day that I do Vulnerable Day of Friday, which is today, and so on, right? So I was telling my therapist, I'm like, hey, you know, I think I'm gonna try this new diet, you know, well, not new, I'm gonna try a new diet for me that I've never done before. And I actually kind of have done it before, because I remember, like, while you're getting into this diet, you tend to feel kind of a certain way, and it's not great, and your body's adjusting, and it's not a lot of fun. The adjustment part is not a lot of fun, which is how most healing goes, right? The adjusting, the accepting, the changing, you know, it's not a lot of fun. And something that I always like to tell people is change is gradual and then all at once. So it just starts with like some baby steps. In the very beginning, you keep taking the baby steps, keep taking the baby steps, keep taking the baby steps. and then before you know it, it's going to be your new existence, and you're not hardly even going to remember how you used to live before. You know what I mean? It's going to be foreign to you. So we were talking, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to get on this diet. And then somehow we got into my weight. We got into my physical appearance, which is, I'm thick-skinned. I am thick-skinned, you know, technically and whatever, you know, just kind of metaphorically. I can handle quite a bit without breaking. I can kind of, you know, when people want to be little shitheads, kind of just this number, it doesn't really, because trust me, nobody's been meaner to me. Nobody's been meaner to me than I've been to myself in my life, okay? So most people I can boop, 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 but I'm not going to say that I don't have vulnerabilities. I'm not going to say that I don't have areas where I have sensitivities. I'm not going to say that I'm imperviable, you know what I mean, or impervious. Like, I'm not going to say that because that would be a lie. So we were kind of talking about it, and I ended up getting very emotional, of course, and I was discussing with her, you know, I don't remember, because this was like a few weeks back now, because we meet every couple of weeks or whatever, and I don't even think I discussed this with my friends, but we were talking, and I, you know, it kind of came up casually, and then she kind of was probing it a little bit, which, you know, that part of you that's been traumatized and victimized and is tired of hurting, and the walls will start coming back up, you know, and you kind of want to, let me go get my armor real quick because I'm getting real uncomfortable and I'm not enjoying this, and you know, and I'd be like, I felt parts of me trying to like shrink and get small and go into my survival mode, and I'm like, no, like, and internally I'm like having this conversation with myself, like, no, we're not doing that. We're done shying away. We're done being afraid. You know what I mean? I've come to recognize and realize that there's no way to escape trauma. There's no, once you've experienced it, okay, there's no way you can't outrun it. And this is something else that I had said before. You can spend your whole life running, but you will never outrun what you don't heal. You will never outrun what you don't heal. Never, ever, ever. And I know because I've tried, okay? I left home at 17. By the time you think, oh, it's over, it's done, I'm good, I'm gonna go live a normal fucking teenage life, and no, the fuck you're not. No, you're not. That shit sticks with you. You know what I mean? It's like the shit on your shoe you can't get off. Like, it sticks with you. You can try to bury it, you can try to hide it, you can try to forget it, you can try to act like it never fucking happened, but at the end of the day, it bleeds into every aspect of your life. Sometimes in small ways, sometimes in big ways, sometimes in ways that damage your entire existence, relationships, and all that. You know what I mean? So I learned finally that the only way to try to have a regular, meaningful life is to go through it. I can't tell you how many times I have tripped over the root of my trauma and then buried it, and then tripped, and then buried it, and then I can't even tell you how many times I've been triggered in a situation, not realizing that it was linked to that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what spurred me onto my healing journey, and how I am the person that you see before you now. And I hope to have many, many more metamorphoses before my time is through. You know what I mean? I really hope that I never stop learning. I hope I never stop growing. So I was like, look, even now I'm doing the avoidant. I'm doing the PTSD avoidant dance, right? I'm like, I'm going to talk about this for a minute because this is making me uncomfortable. So anyway, let's get back to it. So yeah, I decided I was going to do carnivore because I want to get healthy, and I have some things that are bothering me, but we'll talk about that. That's more the carnivore channel, but it's all incorporated, you know what I mean? So we were talking about it, and I remember mentioning to her, because she was asking me questions, and she was like, well, how does it make you feel? And I was like, it makes me feel like unlovable. It makes me feel, you know what I mean? Like bad, you know? It makes me feel self-conscious. I was describing to her a time when I was younger, how my dad had really embarrassed me about my weight. And we were at my cousin's party, his birthday party at his house, and they had like a little kiddie pool or whatever, and I don't know how old I was. I had to be older than 8. I was probably like maybe like 11 or 12 or something like that. And I always I love to swim. I love swimming. I love it, love it, love it. I love getting in the water. I love going to the beach. But I would always swim with a shirt on because I was so self-conscious. And I wanted to hide. I wanted to hide my body. I wanted to hide. That's my thing. Hide, run, hide, run, hide, run, hide, run, hide. And so he made me take my shirt off in front of everybody at the party. And I'm bringing it out, and he's ridiculing me and laughing in front of everybody. And it was one of the worst moments of my life. Not the worst, because, there's a lot. But it was one of the worst moments of my life. And here's the weird thing, as I'm saying this, there's this part of my brain right now that's going, but we're so grateful. Which I know sounds ironic, because it is. But I'm so grateful that someone taught me that shame is not how you get people to change. Those types of situations taught me that shame does not make anybody change. And that was one of the things that I originally wanted to get on here and talk about. When all this crazy shit's going on in the world and everybody's divided, COVID this, COVID that, you're a masker, you're a non-masker, it doesn't fucking matter. And then you're shaming people and making them feel bad. And I wasn't with any of the shame on any side. I believe that life is one size fits all, and only you know what is right and best for you and your body. And your body's going to tell you that, not anybody else. Not any fucking health official, not any government. Your innate soul is going to tell you what is right and best for you. And it may not look like what they're telling everybody they should do. And that was more of what I wanted to talk about. Please don't hit me. That is more what I wanted to talk about. When I first started Vulnerable AF Friday, was trying to get back into we're all fucking imperfect. We're all fucking wounded. You know what I mean? And that's the perfect setup to sow division. You know what I mean? We're already wounded. We're already this. We're already that. So, of course, why not? Why not? Why not go even further and know that we already pretty much hate ourselves, a lot of us, especially if you've been through trauma, you probably hate yourself because you weren't taught love. You weren't taught to love yourself, right? So, yeah, I went through that, and I remember, going back to the carnivore diet, I was like, well, I've never done this diet before, so I don't know how. Sorry, I got a little teary-eyed there remembering that memory. So I was like, well, I'm feeling kind of sick on the carnivore diet one day, and I'm like, man, this sucks. And then I thought back to before, sort of the same part of Texas, right? My cousin and my grandmother, they didn't live too far apart from each other. They lived in different towns, but I don't know, 20, 30 minute drive or something, right? And I would stay with my grandmother a lot during the summers and school holidays. My dad's stepmom, who I never even knew wasn't my real blood grandmother until I was in my teens. She always treated me, in my opinion, as one of her own and never made me feel different or other or anything like that. And I think she's a wonderful person and etc. Right? So I remember this one time she was trying to help me lose weight. And we did kind of a egg, meat, and cheese diet, right? Where I was eating baked chicken or whatever and cottage cheese, and it was just very bland. And I think I was on it for because it's you're supposed to lose a pound a day or something, right? And then we would walk. They lived out in the country, so we would walk down the gravel road, which was fucking long, and then we would walk the fucking rural road, which was also kind of long, and all that. You know what I mean? And even my dad, I'm just giving you one snippet, but my dad was always there was a time where he was telling me I should take my clothes off and go stand in front of the mirror, basically so I could see how disgusting I look. But he doesn't know what he did, right? He sent me a letter. I don't know what I did to make you not want to have anything to do with me. Gee, I fucking wonder, you know? Maybe he'll watch this and he'll figure it out and he'll get a clue. I don't know, but I digress. So these are just, all of the ways where my physical appearance was, I won't say attacked, but served up for dissection in a way, you know what I mean? And I've been waiting for my therapist to give me a prompt, because I've gotten to the point where I feel like I get to go a little deeper with a prompt. I get to kind of sit with it, and like I get out my typewriter and I'm very cathartic. And you know, I work through my bullshit, you know, excavating and like sifting and like, oh, this comes from this and this comes from this and this makes me feel this and I feel this way because of this and all that, right? So I've been waiting for her to give me a prompt, and I'm like, well, maybe I don't need her to give me a prompt. You know, I talk to her about this all the time. I say, I feel like, come on over. I feel like, I don't believe in coincidences. I used to think that life was a series of coincidences, and all that shit, and I don't. I no longer believe that. I feel like everything happens for a reason. The good, bad, the ugly, the in-between, all happens for a reason. It's all here for your soul's evolution to some degree. In some way, it is something you've asked for, which is a whole nother redo of a previous Vulnerable AF Friday that I'm probably going to redo, about parents being all upset that their adult children don't want shit to do with them. So, like, you know what I mean? Just all that, right? And so I was thinking, and I'm like, well, we just talked about, you know, kind of like the whole thing about me being overweight, and, you know, me telling her that I understand where it stems from, and all this other stuff, right? And I'm probably about to get emotional, all right? Like, if you don't like crying, then this channel ain't for you. At least not the Vulnerable AF Fridays, because that's the whole fucking point. This is the whole fucking point. For someone to be fucking real and show up and show you that it's not so bad. It's not so bad to feel your feelings and to go through this shit, as long as you're not just living in it, like, aimlessly, you know? So I started thinking about things. And it's all triggered me because of the carnivore diet making me feel a little nauseous, and I'm like, well, I did a diet like this sort of before, and I don't remember ever feeling sick. You know what I mean? Which everybody says it's very normal, like to feel nauseous, to have headaches, keto flu, blah, 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 right? And then that sparked another realization to me in my mind while I'm sitting here thinking, like, I don't have a prompt. What am I going to talk about next week, you know? Or the next time I see her, because I meet her every other week, which tomorrow I think I'm meeting her. And then I realized everybody focused on the symptom, which was my weight, but not the problem that caused it. And that really kind of upset me. Everybody focused on me trying to lose weight. Everybody focused on my weight. Everybody focused on my weight. Kids, adults, whatever. Everybody focused on my weight. Meanwhile, I'm fighting battles nobody else can see. And no one's trying to help me through it. No one's trying to get me therapy. No one's trying to, you know what I mean, give me a fucking leg to stand on, basically. So I'm already carrying all this shame and trauma and whatever, you know. It was of a sexual nature. We'll start there. We'll start soft. I don't want to just be, you know what I mean? I know how the internet is, and that's another whole conversation I'm probably going to end up having again here on YouTube, is how I don't appreciate the fact that someone in society decided that we're going to fucking censor words like graped and all that other stuff, and you can't say it, and if you say it, it's a problem. Fuck you. First of all, fuck you. Fuck you, okay? You don't get to tell people what verbiage they get to use to talk about their fucking story, okay? I am not with that at all. So anyway, it was of a sexual nature. We'll ease into it, because I don't know YouTube that well yet. So they probably already get me mad about all the F-bombs that I dropped, but I don't give a shit. So we'll figure that out when we gotta figure that out. That's just how that goes. So it really, really upset me. Like, y'all so worried about how the fuck I look. That's the thing that matters to y'all, is how the fuck I look. Not what the fuck I've been through. Not what the fuck somebody y'all know did to me. And I'm real fucked up about that. I ain't gonna lie. I'm real kind of fucked up about that. I don't think there's one person in my life. Nope, that's not true. There's a few that did not make comments or make me feel even more insecure and self-conscious about my weight. And that's kind of fucked up when you think about it. It's kind of fucked up. So that's something for me to work through. She's since then given me a prompt. She sent me a chapter of a book that I started to read last night and I fell asleep. So I have to try to read it today at some point, which I don't know how or where I'm going to read it, because even trying to read it last night was making me fucking emotional. Because it was so relatable, and it just kind of brings all that shit back up, you know, when you read someone else's story and you can relate, like I could feel it, and you can relate, it just rips you open, you know what I mean? And I don't know if that's just the understanding or the empathy or both, but so I gotta try to read this book. In worst case scenario, I don't read the book and I talk about what I was just discussing with y'all, like me coming to the realization that everybody gave a fuck about the symptom but not the problem. And I think that's part of why I don't like modern medicine, like Western medicine. They always want to treat symptoms but not the problem. They want to put a band-aid on everything but not actually fix what's actually really fucking wrong. And I think that's also part of why I've been resistant to therapy. Well, a lot of it is because you don't want to talk about it. You know, you don't want to relive it. You don't want to go back through any of that shit. It's not fun. It's not a good time. You know, but every time now, and I've done therapy before in the past and it didn't seem to work. It wasn't really helpful. And I'll do a whole nother live, like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, how am I going to come up with all these Vulnerable AF Fridays? And I'm just going to have to rehash some of my Facebook lives because they need to be here and live, they need to live in the void for as long as they can. And hopefully it helps one person. Hopefully it helps one person. Even if that one person's me, I can live with that, you know? So, anyway, we'll see what happens. And if you like this video and you felt like it had some substance and that you might want to see me again, please subscribe if you want. I don't want to be one of the people like, hit the like button and subscribe. No hate to all my friends that are on YouTube. Okay, but I'm just saying, like, I get it. Like, sometimes it's good to remind people because I watch videos and sometimes I forget to thumbs up them because, like, you know, when you have trauma brain, it's kind of like ADHD brain. And that's another thing too. Like, when I originally started to go get help, it's because I felt like something was wrong with me. Like I had ADHD or autism or some shit. And I went in there and they're like, well, until we get your PTSD under control, we can't diagnose you with anything. Because PTSD too closely mirrors all of these other mental illnesses. And I mean, I laugh because it feels frustrating, but I also have to appreciate the fact that they're not just going to be like unethical and be like, yeah, I dubbed the ADHD or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I do appreciate, at the time I didn't, because I was fucking mad and frustrated and struggling, and I was having a lot of emotional dysregulation, and I just wanted to feel better. And that's the scary part, when people hit that, I just want to feel better, I just don't want to feel this anymore, I'm tired of hurting, I'm tired of crying, I'm tired of feeling lost, I'm tired of feeling in the dark, I'm tired of feeling alone. That is where that line of, am I going to continue on and try to survive this, or am I just checking out? You know, and I don't want people to check out, okay? You're here for a reason. You have a purpose. You have something to share. You have a gift to share. Everybody does. So anyway, if you liked it, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for being here. Hello to all my previous Facebook people. Happy to see you here. If you have managed to find me, which I say that like it's going to be difficult, I'm definitely going to go post this on Facebook. So once it uploads, I'm going to go post it on Facebook. And so what I normally say on my Vulnerable AF Fridays is, if you can't stand nobody fuck else today, please stand yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be loving with yourself. Give yourself some grace. And if you don't know what that looks like, any of these things look like, you don't know how to do that, you don't know what self-love is, stay tuned, because I promise you this channel is for you, because I used to be the same damn way. I did not know what it meant to have self-love. I did not know what it meant to be kind to myself. I did not know those things. I did not have any examples of those things growing up, you know? So if you don't understand what that means, let yourself off the hook. Start there. Let yourself off the hook. Don't beat yourself up about it. You're human. You've been through some shit, you know? So stand yourself if you can't stand nobody else. And I will catch you on the next one. Take care.